automatically the smart contract is going to release the payment based on the status of the contract. So this one is crucial to have both parties the guarantee that I will receive the goods and you will receive the money. For me, this one is decentralization. TradeOnChain is going to integrate all the life cycle of an international trade contract. Nobody until now did it. There are some competitors or other products that you can use for small pieces of that. So considering that me and you could be located into different sides of the world, that maybe we don't know each other, so we have a problem of trust. And of course, there are different compliance laws that needs to be addressed between the two of us. So having everything in the same space can facilitate all the process from the start to the end.
Okay, guys, so today we're here with Michele, who's the founder of TradeOnChain, which is a decentralized platform for international trade built on ICP. And so I would like to start this conversation by asking you, Michele, what is TradeOnChain and what is the main problem that you're solving?
Yeah, so hi Federico, nice to be here. So TradeOnChain is a decentralized platform for international trade contracts. So what we did is to use the blockchain technology for all the life cycle of import exporting. So user and two entities can create, sign, store, and pay a contract directly using blockchain technology. We developed the solution from 9 months. And of course, what we are doing is to give a decentralized experience, but on a compliance support. So using the right identification tool and the right technology for create a safe and of course an appreciated environment.
Okay, and what is the main advantage of using TradeOnChain instead of traditional global trade solutions?
Good question. So TradeOnChain is going to integrate all the life cycle of an international trade contract. Nobody until now did it. There are some competitors or other products that you can use for small pieces of that. For example, it's really well known how blockchain is used on supply chain or on tracking. But what it was missing was the most important part, it was the contract. Considering that in international trade, between the two parties, the law is the contract. So there is no like international law for trade, but there are some standards that the International Chamber of Commerce deliver, and they associate usually use like for dealing with that part. So why TradeOnChain is important is because like we use all the blockchain technology in the right way. For example, in the identification, as well as the store. So we create an environment that is safe for store all the data between the two parties, and the party that needs to be involved can check it and can analyze that data. And of course, in terms of payment as well. So considering that me and you could be located into different sides of the world, that maybe we don't know each other, so we have a problem of trust. And of course, there are different compliance laws that needs to be addressed between the two of us. So having everything in the same space can facilitate all the process from the start to the end.
Okay. And can I ask you, why did you choose to build specifically on ICP?
So ICP is exactly what we are looking for in terms of technology. Internet computer is giving us the possibility to store all the necessary document like that needs to be involved in the process. And of course, is going to have a lot of efficiency in terms of the process. what I want to say, Federico, is there are studies of using blockchain in international trade from 2008. And all the studies were stopped by one problem, that was the blockchain cost. And of course, nobody updated the study to the actual technology as ICP. So for example, so it's not only a technology that is like perfect for what we are doing, but is perfect for all the entities need.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that one of the main advantages for you to use ICP is scalability, which is very interesting because during previous interviews on my channel, usually other projects would mention interoperability. So you're leveraging another important feature of internet computer, which is in fact scalability. So both in terms of speed and costs. And I would also like to ask you, and because there are also other scalable chains, like for example, Solana. Why using ICP instead of other scalable chains, like for example, Solana?
It's for the first things that I mentioned before. So we were looking for a technology that is giving us the possibility to integrate different needs. For example, on ICP, there is the possibility to store document and to generate, and we create like a structure where user can generate PDF as well, like based on that. So for us, it was crucial to have the document store in the same place that could be accessible for different stakeholders. We're talking about international trade. So there are two entities, right? But there are a lot of check in the middle. So there is the custom house. There could be like a government entity or agency that want to be involved. So having everything in the same place with a really low cost for us is like crucial, considering that our main stakeholder are the small medium enterprise that are going to work in international trade industry. So they are looking for the best efficiency, but considering the lower cost.
Okay, thank you, Michele. So basically, another feature which you're mentioning is the storage. So being able to store everything in one single place, which ICP can allow this. And so this is another feature that makes you prefer ICP instead of other chains. That's great. And I want to ask you, how important is compliance for your project? And if you are having any difficulties in adapting to the current rules?
Compliance for us is crucial, not only for the nature of the product that needs like a really high level of compliance from the first bit, but we were part of a European Union program. So we got a grant from NGI Trust Chain, part of Horizon, and was a really good challenge, not only for building together with them, but for the pain that we had to like work in the last 9 months. Every single step, our platform is completely compliant with all the requirements that are requested, sorry for repeated, but from the European Union in terms of verifiable credential. For example, we are using the W3C one that are their requirement, but even in every single step, for example, storage, crypto, decrypt the document and the payment, every single step was approved by a legal entity that is working with the European Union. So we care a lot about the compliance of our product for sure, but in every single entity that we are going to integrate as well.
Okay. And is it difficult for you to comply to existing law?
Yeah, it was like the hardest part was that one. Honestly, was really painful. Trust me, like find the way to explain to government and the government agency about blockchain and advantage is really difficult, considering that the approach is completely the opposite of how blockchain is working. For example, payment. We use Transact as a partner for dealing with all the payment because I don't want to be addressed as a PSP and it's not in my roadmap. So we use Transact that is having like a license to operate worldwide. On the other way around, to explain how a canister worked to release the payment to European Union was difficult because they were thinking about bank transfer, letter of credit, and all this stuff that doesn't match with what the 2025 is.
Yeah, and I also believe that basically institutions and also many companies they tend to basically have a top to bottom approach, while blockchain is, as you say, totally the opposite. It's like bottom to top. So like when institutions adapt systems which are based on blockchain, it's like if they're kind of losing some control, which is the opposite of what they want, right? But now the technology is so disruptive, and the incentives for people to use transparent solutions and the more efficient and cost-effective solution and more scalable solutions, it's too big. The incentive is too big, and people are just adopting the technology. So institutions, they need to adapt to new technology, just like they did with the internet in the past, right?
Yeah.
And I was reading your pitch deck, and there was a mention about a very interesting concept, which is automated compliance. So do you want to elaborate a bit on that?
Yeah, so the idea that we are working on it is not like invent something that doesn't exist. For international trade, there is like some standard that are elaborate from someone that is from the sector. So what we did is to create a digital environment where all the process of respected standard has been digitalized and stored on the blockchain. So instead of someone hire legal, like go with them like in all the process, we create a sort of guide that is going to follow every single step that needs to be addressed. So this one was the biggest feedback that we received during the program. So just 30 seconds about it. Part of the project was to run a pilot. So we got involved 30 companies to test it. And instead of appreciate the payment side, that for me is like the coolest part of the technology, all the 30 entities appreciate a lot the guide how to fill a contract, because that one is the real need. What we are doing as next is to create an automatic system of compliance check. But this one, of course, is part of the roadmap, is something that we have planned to do it, but we are going to develop together with our partner. Because like the nature of our project is a decentralized platform, but with institutional project. Because if you don't do that step, you will not go further.
Yeah, that's true. And please correct me if I'm not correct. The main advantages that your solution provides is like transparency for international trade, immutability, and also you allow basically to save time and cost to the parties that are involved in international trade. That's why you had such great feedback about those guidelines and about automated compliance, right?
Yeah. So this one was like the start of our journey, no? So there was like a really good need of be guided by like to approach international markets. And just to give you like some data from some United Nations research, the 55%, so 55% of international trade contracts go to arbitration just because they are not filled correctly. 55%. I was working in gambling before, in online gambling, so you have much chance to win at the roulette than an international trade contract goes through without arbitration. So this one is like how everything started.
That's crazy. So this is the problem which is at the core of your solution. And yeah, actually, what do you think? Let's have a look at the user experience and the flow of your application.
Yeah, sure. So I will share my screen. So this one is like how it looks like inside the platform. So here, as mentioned, you can choose the contract model and select the role. Of course, here you have the possibility to give a contract name, because of course you will have a different contract at the same time. And this one is exactly what I mentioned before. So this one is the ICC standard that guide you exactly all the needed information that needs to be filled. For example, here you can insert like the seller data with all the relevant information that needs to be filled to be completed, or eventually the legal representative, the contact person, and as well as the buyer, and the general condition. Like that could be like the kind of product, the price, the payment condition, and every single step have a guide of the article that is following that. That one is really appreciated to don't be lost in all the things that you need to follow, as well as the product code and product details that you can add here in terms of details, quantity, price, origin, or HS code. Just for clarification, this one is the seller side, because usually it's the seller that is going to create the contract, but the buyer can access in the same environment and can modify some part as like, for example, the buyer details that could be filled by their part. Yeah, for example, there are some other details, like, for example, the inspection of the goods, or like the level that needs to be filled for the kind of goods that you're going to ship, and the fee that you need to pay, as well as the termination date. Like here is crucial. That one is one of the crucial part, like to define exactly when the termination date is for the agreement. And yeah, so this one is a little bit how it looks like the platform inside.
Would you like to share us some details about what's happening in the background in terms of the underlying ICP contracts?
ICP is giving you the possibility to store even the front end on our or from our platform. We decided at this stage we don't want to implement for a lot of reasons, for example, latency or user experience and whatever. So at this stage, nothing is happening like on ICP. What is going to happening is at this stage where now we're starting everything to be on draft. So here, store contract, you have this step where it's going to be stored on ICP. So here, how it looks like, you have already the contract ID, who is the seller, who is the buyer, the value of the contract, the model that you choose. And of course, from there, you can verify on blockchain the contract ID and details. So from now, we're starting like the involved of ICP.
Okay. So yeah, it makes sense. So you didn't use ICP for hosting also the front end, because that's more efficient to do that in a Web 2 environment, basically. While the ICP technology, you use it where it is actually needed. So, like for example, in this case, for the storage of the contract. And I wanted to ask you, Michele, what is your roadmap from here going forward?
This one is like really interesting question for a couple of reasons, because now the program with the European Union has stopped, so we have a much more, how can I say, freedom to organize our roadmap. At the next stage, what we are going to do is introduce a different identification system. So at the moment you are logging in with the internet identity that is really high, recognized and following like all the credentials required, but we are going to introduce for sure ledger, because has been requested from corporate and other solution. On the other way around, as step 2, we need to integrate the custom house. So custom house worldwide have the most advanced system. So what we need to do is to integrate all the data that are coming from the custom house, because something that it wasn't maybe mentioned before is that what we create is a smart contract that is going to recognize all the steps of the contract and to deliver the payment based on it. For example, if I'm the importer, you are the exporter, like we decide that the payment is going to be 30% when we sign the contract, 20% when you ship it, and the rest when I receive the money. Sorry, when I receive the goods. Automatically, the smart contract is going to release the payment based on the status of the contract. So this one is crucial to have both parties the guarantee that I will receive the goods and you will receive the money. For me, this one is decentralization. So having like a smart contract that is doing something that guarantee both parties that everything is going as signed. And of course, like we need this kind of information. For example, we integrate until now the tracking system from the shipment, but of course we want to integrate the custom house that is crucial for us to have information in terms of payment fee, or for example, to have the status in case it's going to be blocked in that step, as well as the next step after the custom house will be for sure to go on multi-chain. So we want to use another really interesting part of the multi-chain on internet computer. This is not something that is crucial for us in terms of business, but is crucial for our possible customer. Is something that could involve the different need based on the chain that we are going to introduce. And on the other way around, as last for this year, of course, is going to be massively on the market. We have a partnership with the International Chamber of Commerce that we are going to work with them, but we are moving forward on different local Chamber of Commerce organization. So we are going to push our platform in our 3 strategic areas that are Hong Kong, London, and UAE.
Okay, very interesting. And also, I'm curious about what currency is it used for the settlement of the contract?
Of course, there is just one currency that international trade is used, that is the US dollar. So we are using USDC. And of course, there is a possibility to introduce other currency. At the moment, there is euro, because there will be the digital euro maybe in the next 10 years. But of course, the dollar is the currency, so USDC was the easiest way.
Okay. And how did you integrate USDC into the ICP smart contracts?
So this one is something that our CTO worked directly with Transact, because it's from when the payments start, we don't want to do anything with that, because you need to have a license to do this kind of a process. And our focus is not to be a PSP. So from the moment that you are going to pay it, you will be in the Transact, on the Transact environment that is going to send the USDC to our canister. But everything is like on their side in terms of KYB or all the process that needs to be involved. Of course, like this is a business choice to don't be confused with something that we don't have interest in.
Okay, since it's a bit technical, you want to maybe define what a Transact does?
Yeah, a Transact is an on-ramp and off-ramp product. So what you are going to do on their stage is going to buy crypto if you don't have it, send it to the canister, and of course you can do the other way around. So you can exchange crypto to like your bank account or your wallet. So what they're doing is on-ramp and off-ramp.
Okay, so that's the part that you basically avoided to deal with, which you know, I also run businesses in crypto, and I know what it means. So I imagine it's for you, it's because probably like by avoiding the on-ramp, you're basically just focusing on the crypto side, and so you don't have to do like the exchange part of the process.
Exactly.
Which requires like so much compliance and money laundering compliance and this kind of dangerous things.
Exactly. And I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, of course. Okay, this is very interesting, and I wish you good luck with your project.
Thank you so
and
much.
when you have any update, we can catch up with the community if you'd like. I will leave the link to your social media and to your website in the description. Yeah, I think that's all for today, guys. And if you want more interviews like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you in the next episode.
Thank you, Federico.